Saw something posted today.
Yeah. Usually here, they might think the meeting's at 7.
Nope, it said 6.
No.
I saw,
Vickers, there you go.
Um,
Jim Vickers used to be the Manchester 65.
there you go. You must have spent a lot of time there.
All comes full circle.
Once.
If you said it, we know.
Wasn't pleasant.
No,
Yeah, I don't know, you guys, that was before my time.
All right, we are live, just so you guys
Oh,
know.
you would know. I went there
Not gonna lie.
maybe twice.
And he didn't win.
The night I went, it was somebody that.
Oh, here they are.
The crowd was a little young for.
That's a shocker.
It was like more of a rave. It was like a rave. This is like what? Yeah, I went one of those nights too. Yeah, it was school all night. But it was, seems better. It seems better.
He's like,
You know about the live place, right?
Oh, whatever.
I hope they're not hot. Are these
Yeah,
on?
it's all on. We're ready to go.
Oh, great.
6:03.
All right, we ready?
We're ready.
It wasn't me. It was just 65. Jim Vickers.
Oh, man. There it is. Meeting call to order. Today is Tuesday, December 7th. It is now 6:03 PM. Town Council meeting in the Town Council Chambers, 1170 Main Street, West Warwick, Rhode Island. Mark, will you lead us in prayer?
Father, we thank you that we live in a country where we have a representative government. We pray, Lord, that as we conduct this meeting, we do it in a way that is right and true by you and right and true by the laws of the land. We love you, we praise you, and we thank you for Jesus. In his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Jay, will you sing the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. Jason Messier.
Here.
Jason Licciardi is absent. Mark Bourget,
Here.
Mary Beth Williamson,
here.
and David Goslin.
Here.
Quorum is declared. Proclamations. Proclamation celebrating 20 years as a Tree City, USA community.
We don't have to move this, do we?
You don't know.
I think Tree City is here tonight. If you guys want to come on up to the front. First off, let me start off by saying, thank you for everything you do for West Warwick. The West Warwick J.C.'s consistently always helps down in River Point Park with their John Rock corridor, the J.C. corridor, the Arboretum. So thank you for everything that you do. And before we moved on, celebrating 20 years, which is big. And Jack, how many years? 20 consecutive, which is unusual. And how many years have you been on?
Through all of them.
All 20. How about you? All? And
Impressive.
So this is my second.
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 So in 18 years, we expect to see you here.
Right.
And Jack sitting in the crowd saying, thank you.
I gotta put a JC pension in.
Okay, resolved that the Town Council of West Warwick proudly joins with the West Warwick J.C.'s of Kent County in celebrating their 20th annual Tree City USA, which augments its townwide commitment to Earth Day, Arbor Day, Ecology Day, and our neighborhood partnerships through the national recertification as a Tree City USA community. And further, heartily congratulations are extended to our J.C.'s for their outstanding and continuous project management of public service at their award-winning J.C. Corridor and Arboretum, and their advocacy for rehabilitation of the Senator John Rock Riverwalk, all of which has become a statewide attraction of horticulture excellence over the past decade. In dedication of these many endeavors, the West Warwick Town Council is honored to extend their appreciation, gratitude, and congratulations to the West Warwick J.C.'s for their commitment and dedication to the town of West Warwick. Thank you very much. Flag, you want to take a picture with?
Yeah, I was wondering if some of the guys from, is Don or Fred around from DPW?
They are here.
They asked for the, be in the picture. They help us with the numbers, so it's very important.
Come on up.
Fred and
Don.
Jeff are there.
Don, where are you, Don? Just kidding. Fred and Jeff. Don. You just trolled him. Where's Don?
You're very welcome. It's nice to meet you, Jen.
Jack, need somebody to take that picture. 'Cause you're-
Well, that's all right, I can take it.
Oh, no, you gotta get in here too.
Yeah, I'll go around.
20 years, you need to be in the picture.
Yeah, I think you need.
Somebody's just trying to get out of the picture.
Here we go.
There you go.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna use this to one of them.
No, that's all right.
Oh, do it on.
Jack, here's the. Jack, here's the product.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Oh, I do it on.
And
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Taking the picture, Jim.
Ordinances. First reading of ordinance approving a tax stabilization development agreement for the construction and development of a wholesale food storage and distribution facility with corporate offices located at 40 Keys Way, West Warwick, Rhode Island, also identified as Assessor's Plat 30, Lot 51.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Moving second, discussion.
I'll start. Good evening. I believe this probably started quite a few years ago, but it came back on the table a few months ago. The council president and I, the town planner and the tax assessor met with the ownership of Quality Foods that's currently based out of Providence. They're looking to expand and relocate. They had some initial hurdles which appear to have overcome. So we're very excited to potentially have this business come to West Warwick. They approached us with a tax stabilization agreement, which we vetted over the last few months and have come up with something that we feel makes us competitive to draw them and essentially make us competitive with Quonset Point, which was our nearest competitor in this matter. So I'd like to invite up Bill Cotoro, who's the owner of Quality Foods. He can share a little bit of his vision and plans for West Warwick, and our tax assessor Sal to answer any specific questions regarding the agreement.
Just state your name and address for the record.
Hi, good evening. My name is William Couture. I'm the president of Quality Food Company. My grandfather started the business in 1931 on Federal Hill. It was a retail market. I've been involved in the business my entire life. I did leave briefly for 7 years to go into public accounting. I got certified as a CPA, and then I went back into the family business because I was asked by my father and my uncle to run the office. That was in 1998. Since then, we've grown the business from, approximately 4 delivery trucks on the road to 17 delivery trucks that we have now. We're in a 32,000 square foot facility in Providence. At the time in 1998, I believe we had about 20 employees. Right now, we're currently at 83 employees. The vision I have for the new building, the new facility in West Warwick, I want to at least try to double the facility and the organization in the next 10 years. I believe within 5 years, I should be able to at least achieve 50% growth and probably be able to hire an additional 40 people. One of the things we're most proud of is that we don't have any minimum wage employees. We don't have actually any employees that earn less than $15 an hour. And it goes much higher from there. We have a very good employee benefits package. Our employee retention rate is actually excellent. I have people that, you know, my grandfather hired, 40 years ago that still work there. What else can I tell you about the facility? We're proposing to build about between 65 and 70,000 square foot facility with the expansion potential to 100,000 square feet, in the next 10 years. Like I said, currently we're in 32,000 square feet and we're landlocked. We're down by Promenade Street, and there's just no potential to expand. And currently we actually park one of our trucks on the sidewalk at night. The city of Providence has been very, lenient, but it's now time has come to move into an industrial park. And we just went exploring different possibilities. And this location is actually ideal for us, obviously because of the proximity to the highway, but we also do business in Massachusetts a lot, in Rhode Island and Connecticut. So this is a very good location for us. What else can I tell you? I haven't have any questions.
Just for the record, the location of where the building is going to be Keysway. Is it Keysway?
Keysway, behind the hotel, and it's actually across from where the Golf Dome used to be.
Yeah, it's the
So
Golf Dome, Cox, and the Doggy Bow Wow is on Keysway. The hotel's
across the
on
street.
Keysway, and you're going to be in between both of them. Where the lot's already cleared.
The lot with, the current owner actually cleared the lot. We're in, I do have a purchase and sales agreement on the land as of right now. He did clear the land, and I believe it's 6 or 7 usable acres, but it's been vacant for quite a while. I know he purchased the land in 2016, so it is virgin land, so.
Sal, you have something to say?
I was curious, Bill, your original place was on Federal Hill?
My grandfather started in Federal Hill, right? Yeah, it was called Quality Meat Company, I believe, back then,
Was it Joe's Quality Meat Market?
next door.
Next door, okay.
Yeah, and then he went from, I believe they went from Atwells Avenue to Canal Street, and then from Canal Street to where we are now. So we've been in the location that we are now for, I'm 52, so at least 52 years. So it's been there a while.
And the purchase and sale you have currently, is there an expiration date on that?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're looking to close in the beginning of January.
Okay, thank you.
so hopefully, if we could, if we finalize everything, I'm looking to at least start construction in the last half of 2022, but it's going to really depend on construction materials. From what I hear, just trying to order steel is an 11-month process. So it takes a while, and hopefully, we can at least start in 2022 with 2023 occupation.
One question I have, and I'm not sure if I read it in this agreement, is this contingent of the finish of the project, or is it contingent of when it's approved?
CO,
CO?
I believe it's in there.
Yes.
Yeah. It is.
I didn't know if I read that. All right, so it is a close, that's CO, okay. Any,
South Dakota tax assessor. Property is on Keys across from Doggy Bow Wow and Cox in back of the hotel. Both hotels just sold down over there, just within the last month or so. They'll be paying the tax on the land. That's not going to be part of the agreement. And the building, from the plans, we came up with the value of a little over $3 million. So that's approximately $300,000 a year times the tax rate. And I think it was bringing us in, but around 19,000 just from the land. And then when you add the building onto it, it goes up another 10,000 each year over that. No kids involved, so there's no one going to school. Something like this would be, if it was a residential project, be somewhere between 10 and 20 houses. And each house bringing in a kid and a half, I think they approximate. And-
Yeah, it's in the industrial park,
Right,
so
so.
it's in an area that it should be in and.
Right. And I think the times are like from 6 in the morning until maybe 9 at night, where, trucks are not moving at night. They're just leaving in the morning.
Any other questions?
The only,
I'm sorry.
Chair Ward.
Yeah, Sal, Mark and I met with Bill and Chris last week, and I had some background information as well about the way that they do business. One of the things that was a holdup for them was one of the hotels, and they bent over backwards to try and make things to be, so they're good neighbors. And that's what I thanked Bill about last week, is they really seem like they're a company that actually cares about their community, and I appreciate that. So as a company, a family-owned company since 1931, it's a long time. We gotta give them a lot of credit on that. I really support this. Right now, we only have, $20,000 not even coming in per year, and it's just empty land sitting there. It's a good business, good people, and they really worked hard with us last week to make sure that this can be on the agenda for tonight. And I want to thank them for that as well. So I fully support this for the industrial park.
I just wanted to make note that there was 2 typos that I'll correct before the second reading on Exhibit A. At the top, there was an extra decimal place with 2 zeros. Those 2 zeros will be removed. So it reads $19,600.69. And there was a asterisk that wasn't removed in the grid that I'll remove before the second reading.
the only other question I had, and I agree with what Mark says, I think it's an exciting project and clearly you've been committed. It is a family business. The section 7 that talks about that it's transferable and assignable without consent of the town. I don't know if that's a question for the solicitor or is that typical? And does that mean that could be assigned to anyone?
It can be assigned to anyone but with the same projected taxes. If the council wants to tighten that up, I don't think there'd be that much of an objection, but I mean, that can be discussed amongst the parties. If you want something more of a security that they're going to stay there, or at least that type of business is going to stay there.
It's not necessarily trying to tie their hands, but to not have control over what type of business went in. I assume any other business would have to go through the planning process anyway.
Again, you're as the I was going to say you're the final decision makers. You guys can put into this agreement anything that you want that is satisfactory to you. And then it can be addressed with the owners of the business. So if there's something specific that the council wants to tidy that up a little bit, I mean, that could be provided to both the manager and to Councilman Bourget, and they can bring it back to the owners of the property or the owners of the business. But right now, that the way it's written right now, they can transfer it to anyone they want.
The way I'm reading it, again, the company has been around since 1931. I don't expect that they're going to go anywhere or do anything like that. If after the building's up, it's mostly a big refrigerator. That's what the whole building basically is, a big refrigerator. So I'm not overly concerned that some other type of business that is going to go in there that's not going to be food related. So.
And again, as stated earlier by the council president, since it is the industrial park, you only have so many types of businesses and commercial properties that can go in. It's not going to ever be residential. And if it did happen to change the use, for example, from a food unit to a like a daycare, that would have to come before planning anyway. So again, that section 7 is, if it needs to be tidied up, I mean, I would think the proposal would have to be made, and then if it can be agreed to, great. If not, the way it stands right now is that it can be conveyed to anyone.
I just want to say I was involved with the earlier meetings only because the former councilman before Mark had actually resigned. So I was attending the meetings and met with the gentleman here. And again, some of the competition we talked about, we're competing against Quonset Point. Obviously, you're still in Providence, and so we're looking at drawing in new business here in West Warwick, and and Mark Carullo was very instrumental in helping figuring this out before he left also, and left Mark with pretty much, and Sal, where to go and how to get this done. And that's why when the meeting was scheduled, I said, make sure we invite Mark Bourget because he's obviously the councilman, it's his ward. He's going to be answering questions if anybody calls. And that's why, and I'm glad you were able to get to that meeting because I was unable. And I think this is a great addition to the community and it only helps with other parts of that area up there. And, me being right next door, sometimes everybody always asks me, what's going on with that land over there? What's going on? I don't know, well, now I know. So it's great that you're considering West Warwick. I think it's a win-win for us and you. So, if the council agrees to this, I think it's a great addition to West Warwick.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, if something else comes in there, it's gonna come before planning, zoning.
If you read through this, though, the top part says that if there's going to be any conveyance, it's going to be upon the consent of the town council. The bottom part talks about without the consent of the town council, quality may collaterally assign this agreement or the rights and obligations hereunder as security to any other lender. So I mean, you really don't have to get involved in their business. So I think this is going to give you enough cover. And again, Councilman Bourget's right. Why would you go to the extent of building out 100,000 square feet, refrigeration units, et cetera, to turn it into the morgue?
Yeah. It's around a lot.
Not a lot of noise. Come on, I couldn't resist.
As long as I am comfortable, I am very excited. I think it's terrific. We are trying to attract business to build the tax base on businesses instead of on the back of residents. So I agree wholeheartedly.
And that's the other thing I hope I have is that, you have other business friends that you say, hey, West Warwick is pretty good to work with. And they still have a lot of room in that industrial park that we'd like to fill.
Casino would go nice in there.
Nope.
Ever think about putting one in there?
Any other comments from the council? Since it's an ordinance, any comments from the audience? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Councilman Messier,
Yes.
Councilman Bourget,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williamson.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Would you like me to leave the posters? Anybody want to look at them?
If you want to leave them out, leave them in my office.
Yeah, and the
next time we cross paths.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
good night.
Thank you.
You too. Merry Christmas.
Consent agenda, approval of the minutes of the November 22nd, 2021 executive session.
Move the minutes.
Second.
Moving second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye, I'm sorry.
Ayes have it. As long as I don't hear a lot of no's.
Liquor licenses, town council acting as the liquor commission, transfer of Class A liquor license from L&K Corporation doing business as Louise's Liquors to Rhode Island Wine and Spirits Inc. for premises located at 1745 Main Street, units 10A and 10B.
Move approval of the liquor license.
Second.
Moving second, discussion. I just want to clarify why this is on the agenda again. It was not advertised properly the first time. It was actually advertised after we voted on it into the paper. So it became a closing issue between parties. So our solicitor had said we might want, and the clerk said we might just want to put this back on the agenda. So there's no closing issues with both parties when they close on their mortgage, on their license. So that's why this is back on the agenda. Are the owners here and the previous owner, or the future previous owner and the new previous owner? I mean, the new owner, new previous owner. Well, they've been previous and new and
Right.
a few times. So, all right, with that being said, any comments from the council? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Business licenses, request from West Warwick J.C.'s for a tag day license and request from California Taco Shop for a victualling house license.
Move approval of the business licenses.
Second.
Moving seconded, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. California Taco.
New business, update from the Patuxent River Historical Society.
I don't think he's here tonight.
I don't see Troy.
We can skip that one.
All right. Road bond construction update from the Director of Public Works.
Evening, council.
Hi, Fred.
Hey, Freddie.
One of them days, already dropping the
We
paperwork.
we need a new podium, one that's tilted down more. so it's flat. Everybody is very
Yeah,
awkward.
yeah.
Well, less more like level.
Yeah.
Something.
So I mean, tilted, so it's,
So our construction project is nearly complete for the season. We're just finished up the Tanglewood area. They're moving the old berm that was put in because it's not high enough. So they're gonna replace that with all lip curb and then backfilling all the berms as they go. All the pavement's done and they just gotta finish the top of the sidewalk. And other than a ruined sprinkler head and a couple of the drainage, Tanglewood is almost complete. Phoenix Avenue is complete, Youngs Avenue, Woodside, the Turnpike, and Wakefield Street. We have a few issues on Wakefield Street, as everybody might know. I met with McCarty and the assistant director down there today, and we've picked up 21 spots that's going to be milled and patched for the winter, so it doesn't get any worse. And then the plan is Cardi is gonna come in at the beginning of the new season, and they're gonna mill and overlay the entire thing. I've been in contact with members from Cardi and Indus. They've all been receptive. We'll be meeting throughout the season, before the season, I should say, and we're gonna be working on an evaluation of like last year's progress and what to expect for next season coming up. And the stuff that happened this season cannot happen again. Okay, so that's going to be my top priority because the residents deserve more. Okay, I was kind of put in this position, and I'm thankful because this is going to be one of my best. My toughest acts as a director right now. So moving forward, Indus and Cardi have been very receptive, and we're going to be meeting. And the plan right now is to have the repaving of Wakefield Street going to come under warranty work. So it shouldn't cost any more money to the taxpayers. So that's on a high note. Shouldn't.
Will not.
Will not. So
will not's better than shouldn't.
I know there's been a lot of talk about Wakefield Street, and it's something that could have been avoided, that wasn't avoided, and so now we're in the predicament we are now.
So
So
we got, like, for next season, are we gonna try to make sure, and I know you weren't
Yeah.
part of it, to make sure that if we have part of it being done, we don't wait like
Cor-
3
yeah,
months in between?
correct. Next season, we're not gonna open like all these numerous roads at once. 'Cause that's what creates, that just creates a chaos. And I'm not having that next year. So it's gonna be a few roads at a time, open them up, fix them, close them, and we're gonna move on.
We're gonna start earlier in the season.
Yes, yeah.
But not
Like,
Wakefield Street, if I vote.
I think Wakefield should be the
After
first
school
one.
closes.
School closes.
Yeah.
Actually, if
It should be the
that's,
first one
yeah.
to be done. And I agreed. I think Cardi also agrees also.
Yeah.
So let's see, where am I here? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So beginning of the season, they're gonna come in and they're gonna overlay 2 inches. Hopefully that the base is okay. It should be okay after the winter. So it'll be a 2-inch overlay. So we'll have a good product when it's done. So what happened was, I believe there was confusion. There was too many people involved, whatever it was, but we had one contractor come in and they did the road. And usually when you do a total reclaim, you shoot grades and you take out material that's not supposed to be there and you add somewhere it's supposed to be there. With the cold in place, you take it out and you put back what was there. So there was really no fixing of the road, so to speak. So we may have to adjust some of the structures, but it'll be complete before, after school's end.
Are any of them in a position now where if we were to get, I don't want to use the word snow, but I'm gonna throw it out there in case we get some snow, are any of them in a position now where it's gonna give you guys problems
No,
plowing the roads?
no, everything's all set. Everything's all the structures are covered. Other than the little small, well, the 21 spots that we're gonna mill so they don't get worse over the winter. Other than that,
They're all right.
all the structures are good.
Okay.
There's a couple of loose heads
Right.
on Mayfield Street that
Yes.
they're actually Jeff and I went down there today and they're storm drains. They're not sewer covers. So we'll be taking care of that ourselves. Just replace the, and the covers. They're just a little loose. So, but other than that, any questions?
So Freddie, I saw today in my neck of the woods,
Mhm.
Summit Ave, Atwood Street, where they did the,
Crack ceiling?
not the
Oh,
crack
the
ceiling.
overlay?
The overlay,
The
micro seal.
micro ceiling.
And Kent County Water painted every one of their water turnoffs and everything else blue. Every single one's painted
Oh, yeah.
blue. So I don't know if there's something going on.
I haven't heard
I
anything.
know I brought up
Yeah.
here in the council before, micro sealing has caused kind of like potholes in areas because it put an inch on top of like the sewer covers and the water things and whatever else out
Yep.
there. So, and I know Don said it's gonna wear in, but I was just wondering if you know anything about why they painted every one of them blue.
I haven't heard anything. I'm usually in touch with some guys from the water company. Gary Glenn calls me all the time. We have a good relationship, so I can contact him in the morning.
Yeah,
and
just find out why they
And I
painted
can
them all
send you guys an
blue.
email just so what you're all aware and we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I was just, everywhere they did the micro
Yeah.
seal and they
Because
painted blue.
I believe they did a little bit in each ward, so I'll find out why, and then I guess send an email out to everybody, so we're all on.
Maybe they just want to make sure they're there too.
Sure.
A lot of time when they do that.
Just come on up to the mic.
A lot of times I've seen them when they do that in the past, they paint each one, they're gonna sleeve them and raise them up so you don't have a pothole there. They're just gonna raise them up a little bit so it's a good transition.
Yeah, I just saw it all painted blue
I'm not
today.
saying that's exactly what it is, but a lot of times that's exactly what it is.
We'll
so.
find out. Thank you. That's all I have. Anybody
Actually,
else?
no, I wanted to thank Freddie and Jeff and I know Elaine and Mark have spent a lot of time. There's been a lot of discussion, Wakefield Street in particular. And I'm happy to hear that Cardi and Indus are going to step up and do the right thing. We'll get it buttoned up for the winter and then do it correctly next spring. So the communication has been terrific. You've sent out emails, you've been responsive. So thank you for doing that.
And while I'm up here, I just wanted to say, Freddie and I came into this towards the end of the project, but I want to say that he has done a tremendous job with this project, trying to make things right. And things that were
Correct
wrong, make
things
them
that were,
right.
yes.
And he's done a tremendous job with it, especially the communication and everything. So,
Hey.
I think
I agree. So both in
Wonderful job.
Tanglewood and on Wakefield Street, which are two areas that I'm obviously interested in the whole town, but I've gotten several calls about, and the people in Tanglewood are happy after spending a summer in a war zone, getting done what you have gotten done. I appreciate it. So thank you.
Speaking of war zones, Acorn Street. That was a war zone for about 2 months.
Right.
And I want to make sure it's stressed, if you guys are going to start working on putting something together for the spring, when that gets fixed, that it is cement curbing that's going back in there, not the berms, okay? Because the residents there put up with that with very, very little complaints. I want to thank them all for very little complaints. And one of the things that they really want back is their cement curbing, which they did nothing wrong. They had no responsibility in this, and they should at least get their cement curbing back. And then the other thing I want to bring up is Lonsdale, that spot over by Pine Orchard you and I talked about. And I'm bringing it up under this because my argument back then was Lonsdale should have been done all the way up to where they ended on Coolest the last time, and that's my argument. That should have been done. They were promised in August, the people who lived there, that mess would be taken care of, and it's still not taken care of. And, now we're into the winter season, and something really needs to get done there, hopefully before winter starts, to try and smooth that somewhat.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions for
No,
Freddie or Jeff? Thank you, gentlemen.
thank you.
Thank you.
Request from the fire chief to apply for assistance to firefighters grants for 2021.
Move the resolution. The resolution, no.
So, hi, Jeffrey
Chief.
Brown, Fire Chief. So every year the FEMA through the Assistance to Firefighters Grant offers availability for equipment and apparatus. Our ladder is a tower ladder, is a 1998 Sutphen ladder. In the past, since 2015, we've spent about $200,000 on repairs. Those repairs do not include tires and the normal wear and tear. Those are major The repairs. frame cracked, isn't it? The frame cracked more than once. Sutphen did stand behind their work when they fixed it, and they didn't charge us to have it fixed a second time, which would have cost us another $40,000 to $50,000 in addition. The truck has been out since April. We just got word it is ready to come back. So we will be getting it back this week, and it will be getting tested. It has to get a ladder test Friday to get back in service. So it's been out since April. Since 2015, it's been out of service over 2 years of that time. Okay. It needs to be replaced.
And just to clarify, we haven't been without a ladder truck, though. We do.
No,
have-
we did. We bought in 2019. We got very lucky. We found a used ladder, a straight ladder. But that is a 2000, so that's 22 years old. We bought it as a reserve to be used sparingly. It's been in service, since April now. So
Working faithfully.
So with the Assistance to Firefighters Grant, we want to replace a tower ladder. The new cost of a tower ladder is in the vicinity of $1.3 million. The way the grant works, the program is by population. So the maximum that the town of West Warwick can receive is $1 million. And that's on a 90-10 split. So if we were to get max out, get $1 million, we'd have to come up with 900,000. Federal government would come up with 900,000.
That's a
and
no.
we'd come up
Yeah.
Obviously it's going to be more than $1 million. East Providence just bought a ladder similar to what we're operating, a straight ladder, and that was $1.1 million. So for the additional $200,000, we'll have the additional capabilities of having a bucket and being able to go below grade and just a lot of other functions that a tower ladder can do that a straight ladder can't. So I'd like make you aware, we're going to want to submit for that grant. At some point, we're going to have to buy that ladder. So hopefully we can get this grant, and that would reduce the taxpayers' burden significantly.
What is the likelihood of getting the grant, Chief?
So this year, there's a lot of money out there. So the grant program itself has been increased by $100 million. So 25% of all funds in that have to go to professional fire departments, and it gets divided up amongst like rural and so we last year submitted the same type of grant, and we made it out of the computer scoring, which is pretty much your application, and then it's peer reviewed. We got the results of that peer review. We were close, but we didn't make it. We're making the corrections that we can make on those submissions. So, we have good hopes, but it's.
And when would we find out?
The submission deadline is a week from this Friday, and it's usually 3 to 4 months. So by April, I would say we'd know.
And how long before a truck would get here
So if we were to order a truck in April, it would probably be the following March or April. Yeah, it's 11, 12 months. It might be a little bit longer.
payment stop before delivery or after delivery?
So depending, if you pay up front, you get a discount.
Okay.
Okay. So that's one of the, so we'll cross that road when we get to that.
When we
But
get to it, yes.
yeah, but
We will
no,
get
there is a discount if you pay up front,
Okay.
so.
Any questions for the chief? Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Tim, do they need to put forth a motion just giving permission for Chief Barone to submit that grant application?
It's not on any type of action, so I mean, he's explained it to you. I would think that there might, is there any memorandum expect from the chief on this, Mr. Manager? I would suggest that a memorandum be prepared through the manager's office and provided to the council, and then the council can vote on it. Chief, there's not going to be any, if there's a delay to the next council meeting on a vote, is that going to cause you any problems?
Yeah. Yes, that will.
The submission date is a week from Friday. It's the
Right.
17th.
But do you need the council to vote on this tonight in order to submit?
I don't need the council to vote to submit, I did want everyone to, be aware.
Yes.
Because
Right.
we don't, they, we can withdraw if
My,
we. if
my,
we-
my suggestion
Last
is
thing you
in
wanna
the,
do,
in the past, he's been able to submit, but I would suggest that you provide a memorandum to the council, excuse me, the town manager, to provide it to the council, and then the council can vote on it properly at the second meeting in December.
Sure.
This-
Thank you, Chief.
The grant is not, there's nothing in the grant that says, will you be able to come up with, will the community finance the rest of it or anything like that, right? So this is just for
All it
information.
says 90-10, right?
Yeah,
90-10.
That's
You're
just
committing
quick,
to
but no,
that.
In the submission.
Yeah.
I'd have to go through, there's a lot of questions,
Okay,
okay?
yeah.
I would imagine they
so-
ask you to commit to that, but
Yeah.
But as he indicated, you can withdraw at any time, so if he
We
finds,
can,
right,
if we get awarded, you can still decline it,
okay.
Right.
Okay.
okay? It's not,
If
they're
we
not
get
happy about that happening.
If we get awarded, I don't,
You know?
I find it
I
unlikely
can't
we would
imagine
decline
we
it.
would.
Yeah, right.
The reason why I was asking is because if it is part of it, and then like Tim said, if you get that memorandum to us, maybe if we have to do a quick meeting to pass it to make sure it's in time, if they need that.
I would think, because this is, I think that the fire department has done this in the past. There are so many steps to this before you even get a preliminary approval, because again, even with your submission last year,
Yes.
there's a lot of back and forth even before it gets to your peer review. And then once it gets through peer review, then you're really going to know if you're going to get it.
Right.
So since you
Right.
made the
Then we bring it
adjustments from
back.
last year, right, there's a lot of back and forth. So you have plenty of time. But he can make the submission without the council confirming anything.
Yeah, if you should find out as you go through this process between now and a week from Friday that you do need it, please let us know.
I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Request from Wildlife Rehabilitators Association of Rhode Island for subsidy of $4,546.
So it's not a resolution, it's a request. And I will tell you, it's a wonderful organization. I am very familiar with it. I actually have a cat from that organization that they helped to raise it. It was found when it was 2 days old. That being said, I stick by what I said, what I've said right along is that we're not in the business of supporting other nonprofits. I'm not sure that that's other than the food bank and the
Veterans.
veterans. So I would have my gut would be, although it's a wonderful organization and I would encourage everyone to support it, I can't imagine that we should use taxpayers' money to do that. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, we have that. What's the total amount we have in that? I know obviously we donate to the food bank. What's the total amount? Not saying we should donate, but it's only a small amount anyway, right, David?
I think it's a little over 10,000, 12,000,
10,000.
10.
Right.
And we donate to the, what did we do to the food?
It's usually 66,000 roughly for the food bank, 1,500 for the Veterans Council,
And
and
the rest,
then,
the rest we use for like boosters and whatnot.
Yes,
That's
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with all points, because there are a lot of great nonprofits in this community. And when Deb from Angel in Action came up, we told her the same thing, and we.
Right.
your thoughts, Mark?
You know, me 10 years ago, I asked if we had the legal authority to be donating to a lot of things that we donate to. Never really got an answer as to whether or not we did have that legal authority. I agree with Mary Beth. I think this is a great organization. There's a lot of animals out there that nobody knows what to do with, because if you find one injured, you can't bring it to like Ocean State Vet. They won't take them. So this is a great organization. So I'm a little torn on this one because, they do help within our own community to help like keep rabies away and things along that line, which actually benefits the taxpayers of the town. So like I said, I'm a little torn on this one. I read what they wrote, and I think they give a very good explanation as to why they're seeking $4,546. So I actually could go with this one because of the benefit that they actually bring to the town and the savings of the taxpayers and the keeping the disease away from domesticated animals.
Have we ever, I don't think since I've been on the council, have we ever given them any kind of a
It's the
donation?
first time
David?
I've ever seen a request from them. So did you say you could or couldn't?
I could, because again, I don't know who here has animals, but you know, as rabies starts spreading through a community, it gets a little bit out of control. And then, you know, our animal control is going to start dealing with that. And, you know, people lose their own pets. I look at it as, you know, a good thing that they do for the communities. And, you know, if we don't even give them all of that, if we just give them something.
I was just gonna say, we don't have, you know, it doesn't have to be the whole, at least if we donate something to it. You know, I'm not looking at 4,500.
Yeah, because I think of this money for our own shelter that we sometimes don't really fund there, which probably could get the money too as well.
Like I said, Mary Beth, I agree with you. I asked if we had legal authority 10 years ago, never got an answer. So it's been going on long before I was on the council then, and it's going on since then. So
And I never really worried about the legal authority, but that's a valid question. It's more of using taxpayers' money
What do
for
we
a
know?
particular, and
Kristen,
we have.
do you know offhand, Kristen, how much money we have in that? What is that called? That line item?
I think we spent 1,500 and then the other 6 that has to come in. Usually it's
The
like
food cup, it has
Yeah.
not requested their
Yes.
amount yet this
I'm
year.
trying to get a hold of.
They've been a little difficult to get a hold of this
But we
year.
will. I
but
will actually stop at the house.
They usually
And last year we did.
request into November,
And I
so they.
believe last year we
beat
didn't, we
the-
didn't do the full amount to the food cupboard. Didn't we do a lesser amount?
No, we did.
No, we did.
We did the same.
Yeah.
So so those,
So I would say there's $2,500 in there. Not.
I mean,
I'm not
opposed to $1,000.
I'm not opposed to giving them money, but I do agree with Mary Beth. It goes back to the same thing. Well, I see both
I'm just
sides.
gonna
but I-
point out, it's 2-2, so 2-2 is no.
If it's,
Again,
Just letting you know that now.
it's a wonderful organization, but what happens, I guarantee you, if we give money to this
No,
nonprofit,
that's-
there will be 3 or 4 at the next meeting that will come and ask, and how do we pick and choose? Nor should we pick and
because
choose
there's a
how we're
lot of, because
spending
there's
the
a lot of
tax.
great, yeah, that's, yeah,
And we did say no to an organization right here in town.
yeah.
And so I struggle with that.
And like I said, I do too, because,
Yeah.
you know, and I told Dave and the rest of the council years ago that, you know, I don't see where we have the legal authority to take somebody's tax dollars and give it to an organization that they might not agree with. You know,
I think I remember arguing with you
Yeah,
about it and saying,
because
if I went to my constituents and said, less than a penny of your tax dollars go to help feed the needy, what do you think? And I think they would ask for more.
Feed
But-
the needy is a different.
No,
yes.
that's what,
Yes.
because
yeah.
that's what the
Oh, okay.
argument was
Right.
10 years
Yeah.
ago.
it was all
Yep.
lumped into a big
Yeah.
donation.
Right, conversation.
Conversation,
Yeah,
yes, it
yeah.
was. So, yeah, so again, I personally don't know if we have the authority to take other people's money. and give
Again,
it to
if
an
it's no,
organization.
yes, it's 2-2, it's a no. So we'll move on. Just for the
Still
record,
would encourage people to give to
To
the
help donate,
organization.
yes.
Yes.
And the name of the organization again is,
Wildlife Rehabilitators Association of Rhode Island.
yes. So if you can donate to them, please do.
before we move on to number 5, can we go back to number 1? Jerry did show up. He just popped in, so if we can get him back on the agenda. So if we can go under new business 01 update from the Patuxent River Historic Society. Come on up, Jerry. You're grounded for being late.
Hello, okay. Jerry Tellia, 136 Burlingame Road, President, Patuxent Valley Historical Society. We had planned on finishing up and having an open house in December. We're a little bit behind. We decided to cancel that, and we're gonna have an open house in April. We're about 95% done. We just have a lot of cleanup to do with dust and artifacts need to be reorganized and stuff like that. From the last time that we've talked, we had received another grant. It was a matching grant, And what we did is, this is separate than the addition. We put a whole new roof on the existing building. So we should be good for 25 plus years now for the roof. Again, cost of taxpayers, nothing. This whole project is probably around 250,000 that we've put into the building. At the end of it all, we'll give you all the figures, and that's all I have right now. Good thing is that it'll be open for the spring. And the best thing about it, cost of taxpayers, nothing.
Thank you. Any questions for Jerry? Again, thank you to you and your group that continue working hard over there. I know it's been a couple of years now working on that addition. Actually,
It's quite a few
it's been
years.
more than that, but breaking ground and getting it up.
Yeah,
And
breaking ground, we'll be just about a year.
because I think Councilman Giroux was here when that started, right? That was,
Yeah.
A while before I
Yeah,
was
there
on.
was just a big process of jumping through the hoops and the State Preservation Commission and all of that.
Yeah.
But we're moving on.
Thank you, Jerry. Any questions for Jerry? Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a good
Jerry.
night.
Thank you.
All right, we're back on 5.
All right, resolution establishing a recreation committee as an advisory committee for the town of West Warwick.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Moving second, discussion. Mark?
This was tabled at the last meeting. I had made a couple of changes that I mentioned then about including the Parks and Rec Department in reporting and fix some grammatical errors. I sent the draft out for comment.
Hold on one second. I don't want to cut you off, but I need since it was tabled, I need a motion to bring it back
Oh,
on the table.
Motion to,
no action.
He said it was
I
tabled.
believe it was tabled, but
Why don't we take no action? I thought we tabled it. I do recall somebody tabling it.
Table to the next meeting.
Okay, I'll make a motion to take the resolution off the table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna make a, I'm
Ayes have it. Now I need a motion.
gonna make a motion to move the resolution.
Second.
All right, Mark, start over.
Sorry about that.
all right. So I made some appropriate changes. The only item that was still in question is section 4 about the terms of service. Right now, it just says the committee member shall be appointed to a term of 3 years, except in cases where an appointment will be made to fill a vacancy. I guess it's just ambiguous on, can we have it so it's their terms of service are by their dates of appointment current, so that way they're staggered by their dates of original appointment. So the 3 people that have been on for a while, their terms will start whenever their appointment was. The 2 gentlemen that have been appointed in 2021 will be on their appointment dates. And that way you'll have that automatic stagger instead of trying to figure it out
That makes perfect sense.
other ways.
So do you want to amend this or do you want to?
I don't know if we need to necessarily,
I would think that if you want to make it that clear, you would put in section 4, starting with the member that was appointed the longest period of time ago, you'd start with their names and then any successor to that person, you have a date. So for example, if who's not Mr.
Chris Messier is the chair.
Messier's
Mr. Richards, I think is.
Paul Richards.
Richards.
Let's say Paul Richards was originally appointed back in 2012 and has been doing a 3-year. If his renewal came up in 2020, whatever that date was, he would be 3 years from that date, but you would list him. So you would know that date, that his term or whoever replaces him would start on that particular date.
So again, to make it easy, it would be from their latest appointment 3 years later.
Right.
Right.
So you could put down A through E with each name indicating the date they started. And then 3 years from that date, they would be either reappointed or you would fill a vacancy. And then that way they're all staggered.
That works for me. I think it
But
works.
do we
for
want
everyone.
And if somebody comes in, like if somebody leaves in between, it would be similar to
So
like
it'd be-
Mark, where you've just finished out the rest of
You
that term?
Finish it out.
continue on. So
Right.
if Paul left today
Just like we do on any
and
other.
he had a
committee.
year left,
Yeah.
you'd fill the vacancy for a year.
We do that right now in any committee. So if
Making sure it's the
if
same
somebody
guys.
left midterm, whether they would just finish out their term,
Mhm.
and then get reappointed or not reappointed.
I was just cautious. I didn't know if we should name people in the resolution
No,
or if just by the fact that, we have it documented when they were each appointed.
You just
That
put
by
citizen member.
default,
That way, it's
You
not any of the others. So the 5 citizen members that have been appointed by the council, you could do it that way.
No, those 3, they weren't all appointed on the same date. So we try and make it so it's all the same date for all of them, or we just still use theirs and just keep it staggered even that much more.
If I remember right, you're gonna have Paul, Richard, Mazzullo and Reed are the last 2. I forgot who the other 2 are.
Chris
Messier.
Chris Messier.
Is the,
I can see him. I just can't think of his name. Gorvin.
Pop Warner.
Yeah,
Michael
Michael
Gorvin.
Just put down citizen appointee A, whatever that date was, B, C, D, E. And then the last 2 would be Derek Reed and Vin Marzullo, but you'd have the date certain. And then 3 years from that date, so these are automatic stagger.
Could it just say, committee members shall be appointed to fill the first term will expire 3 years from original appointment?
Yeah.
So why don't we
As long
amend
as-
section
as long
4
as-
to do that?
As long as the intent of the council is made
Yeah.
apparent in this, you can do it any way you want.
So I would make a motion to amend the resolution, section 4, to add the language. First terms will expire based on original appointment dates of current members.
second,
We can work on the language.
any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. As amended.
Resolution in support of DEM 2022 Recreation Acquisition and Development Grant.
move the resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Mark, before we get started, I know this is Councilman Licciardi's ward. He's always been very vocal on getting this playground updated. And I know he's not here tonight. And I know the last discussion he and I had, we discussed a lot of playgrounds. I know we discussed Factory Street. And I wholeheartedly believe in what Councilman Licciardi is aiming for here. And so if you want to move forward, I just wanted to mention that because I know he's not here tonight, where I know where he stands with this.
right, so I'll try to speak a little bit on behalf, but I'm sure I won't do it justice. This one is a bit timely because we've been working now for a little over a month aggressively on preparing 2022 DEM grant for this. And they have an acquisition grant and a development grant. And Councilman Licciardi had approached me to work on it with him on maximizing an opportunity for the development portion of the grant. As you mentioned, this one is kind of near and dear to him for a few different reasons. Primarily ADA compliance, which is a major factor for this. We're in the process of assessing all of our playgrounds to come up with that appropriate plan. But this one would be our next target. So the DEM grant is, you request up to $500,000. The max that they would give out would be the $400,000 with a 20% match of either in-kind work or your own type of funding. So since this is really a work in progress and the submission date is December 17th, where we engaged a landscape architect who's helped with this, the map they have in front of you, there's a couple extra copies up on the desk there if anyone else is interested in looking at it or taking one home. It's still in its draft form. We're proposing a major overhaul of this particular area that will, start with drainage and a significant conceptual change on what the town offers. So we'd like to leave it open-ended to request the maximum amount of the grant funding that the DM has available so we can include all those things. We anticipate we have some feelers out now to get some cost estimates to try to refine it as best we can prior to the submission date. But we'll do our best to narrow it down by then. So essentially this plan before you, just to run down a few of the highlights, is expanding the off-street parking to include ADA compliant accessible spaces, more or less inserted into the playground off of Manchester Street, renovating and expanding the athletic court to include 2 pickleball courts, which apparently is extremely popular these days. I haven't figured out the rules yet, but it is on a lot of cable channels. Renovate and expand the athletic court with proper lighting and basketball assemblies, a bocce court to satisfy the demographic that enjoys bocce, a shaded picnic and patio outdoor classroom type area that we're proposing would be directly adjacent to the Patuxent Valley Historical Society. A lot of what we're trying to do here is to encompass what they offer, to make it more of a community area, and also highlight the fishing pier that's just a short walk away. So the picnic patio area with the pavers and movable picnic tables and shade structures, compliant ramps, and a retractable portable outdoor media screen so you could do presentations there or host movies. A renovated, what we're calling a fitness walkway that would kind of meander throughout the property, that would have different little fitness stations built in little offsets that, you know, might have a pull-up bar or, you know, 5 or 6 different offsets where you could do different activities that would satisfy a lot of different demographics and fitness abilities. The playground, the existing structure in that back corner would stay, would just get cleaned up. And then these, in the picture, the parts in the middle would be kind of the toddler section and sensory garden is what we're calling it, with the poured in place surface. That's where the biggest investment would be outside of the drainage to make that a total accessible area.
So this is just our proposal to be eligible to potentially get the grant, but you have to have.
Correct, as I mentioned. Right, so with that, once we have more secure numbers, we'll be applying the grant. And you know, I've had some decent people step up to help with the review process, and we'll be engaging some more throughout the next week and a half to hopefully put a good product forward. Should we get the maximum amount that request? Again, I've proposed that we consider investing heavily in the town's recreations offering, specifically with compliance and accessibility and safety upgrades.
Utilizing our newly reorganized recreation committee to go through and help us
and push it along. Yeah. This one is a little bit of timeliness, so it's kind of
no, this portion, but if we were to get the grant and it were to go forward, that's something
right.
Where
It's something that
yes,
they'll be very helpful with. And obviously, you know, I'm proposing that we'll have some in-kind work, no matter what level of project this becomes, with some removal of items, with some drainage in the School Street, Manchester Street area that's been a problem. And then obviously infusing American Rescue Plan funds into our recreation offering, because as I mentioned before, that's something that is generally the first thing to get cut when you're having fiscal constraints. But it's something that is it's open, it's transparent, people see it, and it benefits the entire community. So that's a priority for me. I'm hoping we're going to submit this grant with your approval on the morning of the 17th. And we should hear back from them in the early spring.
Let's get all those grants we can.
But this is one of the ones that you get points if you supply the resolution saying that your council supports it going in.
Any questions for Mark? again, I know I'm speaking for Councilman Licciardi. I know how near and dear this has been to him since he's been on the council. And this is an opportunity to get that area, and it helps beautify the area. Not that it's not too bad right now, but again, with the Historic Society putting their addition on, encompassing that and being able to utilize the park, and the residents down in the Crompton area, and just like, Factory Street, there's residents coming from all over West Warwick and even some from Coventry and Warwick coming on over.
And
to that
it's walking,
playground.
it's walking distance
It's
to
walking
the fishing
distance.
pit, to the
That
fishing
helps
pier.
spur
around
some
there.
additional redevelopment in the area. I know there's been several different proposals of the Evolution Mill or
Mill, yeah.
the former Crompton Mill grounds, that hopefully that's something that will all tie in together.
And this is already a heavily used park anyway. I mean, there's
Yeah,
always
it's
somebody down
always
there.
somebody there, somebody playing basketball, somebody's on the swings, the little kids are always there. It's a well-known park, it's been there, so sprucing it up would be the proper thing to do for West Warwick, so. Any other questions for Mark? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I know Jay's with us in spirit as an eye on this one.
Resolution authorizing the financing of the acquisition of public safety equipment and vehicles through a lease purchase agreement in a principal amount not to exceed $340,000, authorizing the execution and delivery of a lease agreement and related instruments and determining other matters in connection therewith.
Move the resolution.
I'll move the resolution.
Second.
Move a second before we get furniture thrown at us. Hi, Kristen.
mean, So this is just standard resolution, so we can move forward with the financing. They need to put it out to bid, and then there'll be a timeline pretty tight. So this just gives us authorization for David and I to solidify, choose the bidder and move forward with the lease.
But what is this for? It doesn't even
Oh,
say.
It's for the rescue equipment from July that you voted on. It
Okay.
just kind of got,
So this isn't any additional money,
Financing.
okay.
Nope,
all right. Because
it's-
I highlighted some stuff in there, I'm like, I don't understand. And one of them was the 60-day prior wording, but that makes sense now as far as that goes, so.
yeah,
Okay.
it just kind of got, a lot of things were going on in the fall, and we finally,
Yeah, because this doesn't say to rescue, it just says public safety equipment and vehicles, and like,
Yeah.
okay.
that's lawyer speak.
That incorporates a whole bunch, so, okay.
Yeah, so it's financing for equipment we've already.
And this is
approved.
out of the rescue fund.
Right, you
also.
approved it in July, correct,
And this is out of the rescue fund.
correct,
Which is revenue that we receive for rescue runs.
correct.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting the chair back.
Request from National Grid for approval of installation of new P350 plus or minus 50 foot from existing P3 on Energy Way.
Move, oh, do I have to move the request, move the resolution?
Is it a resolution?
No.
No, it is a resolution. It's actually written up as a resolution.
Yeah, it is a
Yes.
resolution. Yep.
Okay.
So second.
Moving seconded, discussion. Where's Energy Way?
Down in the industrial park
It's right
also.
there,
Yeah, it's right
that's what
there.
I-
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, there's a picture.
I mean, it's
Energy
not gonna
waste.
affect anything.
It's further down, right? A little bit
Yeah.
further
Yeah,
down.
you go wait.
Yeah.
It's heading towards the
Paul Arpin.
Arpin, yes.
And why is it that we have to approve this? Am I
That's why I
Because
was
they put it on
abstaining.
town property, so they have to get approval to move. When they install the poles, they get approval, so when they have to move it somewhere further, like they're moving it like, how many feet? 50 feet from the existing. So they're just moving it closer or further away from the looks of it. So they just need permission because it's on town property.
so that other one's going to stay though, based on what?
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Okay.
they're adding, well, no,
It says existing P3 to
existing
remain.
P3 is coming out
No, to remain.
and proposed, to remain.
That's what it says. Which is fine. I mean, obviously.
They're
yes.
adding an
Yep.
additional pole.
Yep. Okay.
That's, and
It's
again.
not gonna be obstructing anybody
No.
anyway over there.
It's probably to add more, it's probably to add something to number 4 Energy Way,
Right.
because that's, and then there's 9JP, so it looks like it's just adding something to somebody and somebody's asking for a new pole, a new service or something, and that's how they gotta do it, whether it's underground or whatever it may be. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Yeah, actually, if any utility goes on that pole, they actually have to get permitted through National Grid also.
All right, upcoming appointments, sewer use board of review, one alternate member vacancy with a term to expire October 2024, and one vacancy with a term to expire October 2023. Two vacancies on the pension committee with terms to expire November 18th, 2024. Juvenile hearing board, three vacancies with terms to expire December 2021. A tree warden and a recreation committee, school committee member. And
I'm told that that was sent, I thought maybe to the town clerk's office, but I will verify that.
I haven't received anything yet, unless if Paula received it and I haven't, it hasn't come across my desk
The
yet.
fact that, and Louis Cologne, the chair of the school committee, did indeed say Suzanne Amon is the person who wanted to be on it, and they did have approved that, so.
Yeah,
I'll
it was
make
I can
on
sure.
check with
there.
them.
They did approve it,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I'll check with them then. Perfect. All right. And public forum.
Before we get into public forum, Councilman Messier does have something. We wanted to bring it up at the beginning of the meeting, but because it wasn't on the agenda, so we discussed it and put it on public forum. So Jay, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, well, some sad news in Ward 3 in West Warwick. Thomas William Rogerson, who many of you may have remembered about 4 years ago, we gave him a citation. He was one of the oldest survivors of Pearl Harbor. And of course, today is the anniversary of Pearl Harbor, 99 years old, and he passed away within the last 2 days. Pete Cottrell just gave me a call before the council meeting, so I wanted to pass our condolences off to his family. And if anybody wants to attend the services, it's going to be this Friday from 9 to 10 at Ionati's funeral home. Again, his name is Thomas William Rogerson. And I wish I had time to pull up the citation that we gave him, but definitely look up into him. I remember me and my son went down there with the rest of the council in 2017, and it was a really cool experience. I know we gave him a citation as well as I believe some of our local senators.
Yeah, and one thing about Mr. Rogers was when he, when Pete Cottrell came before the council and introduced us to him, you know, Pete actually met him by walking down the street basically and stopping by and having a cigar with the gentleman. And then, you know, Pete got sitting down talking to him, and Pete realized, you know, wow, this guy definitely needs some recognition, and he brought him before us. And, you know, and it's ironic how today is the 80th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, and this gentleman had passed away within the past couple of days. It's sad for West Warwick, 99 years old.
And you think of how young he was when he was there, 19 years old. He was a kid. So it's crazy.
You know, condolences to the family. And again, I want to thank Pete for introducing him to us as a council. And, you know, I know Pete was kind of, I caught it today on social media, and I know it hit him, and he, you know, reading the story, it's very heartfelt. So thank you. And thank you to his family for his obviously service and giving history lesson to many residents of West Warwick. So thank you. That's it for us. Any comment from the council? Public comment?
Actually,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, the only thing that I've had a number of people talk to me about, the swings are down and Mark, I haven't had a chance to talk to you. Swings were down at Factory Street and just general things that are happening there. And I just made it clear that I would bring it up and that we would take it under advisement and make sure that the administration is taking a look at what's happening there, that perhaps there's some vandalism that needs to be. However, Chief, we take a look at that, but clearly it seems to be a place, a gathering place, and it is a showpiece, and we want to make sure it stays that way.
So I know Mark's working with Ken Townsend about getting the outside lights on the street. Nobody can remember when they worked, according to Ken Townsend. I had the luxury of spending 5 hours up there one night for, I think it was homecoming night, and it is a very interesting place to be. And it's not just a playground for little children. It's a lot of older children who go there, and I don't know what we can do about age restriction or whatever. There's a lot of complaints about language. There was almost a fight. There was a couple of other situations going on, and this is while there was adults who were attending the playground to make sure stuff wasn't going on. So I can only imagine. I know one parent did share with me that another parent, out of the kindness of her heart, went around and started cleaning stuff up. There's a lot of disrespect. I know as far as the Parks and Rec, they're up there almost every day trying to blow it off, clean it. It's definitely a lot of trash. I know Lori's had some conversations. They're looking at camera options out there also. I know the Dean of Students has been very involved with that area, making sure that the middle schoolers.
Yeah, it's been after school. I can tell you, I'm there every day. It's a spot where there's only so much you can do. You can only, and you can, even if teachers are there after school, you can't be there 24/7.
No, you can't, but if there are things that we can implement to discourage
Agree.
the vandalism and
Agree.
breaking of things
What I-
and the trash.
I'll be
and-
honest, what needs to happen up there, and I know the fence was a hot topic, but I think we need a taller fence and lock that dusk in dawn.
Maybe we should put this on the next agenda just so we don't get too far off topic. We're here.
I knew we could draw you out eventually.
Jeff, state your name.
Jeff Caldwell. I was up there the other day. Myself, Freddie, guys from Parks. There's more vandalism up there. They've broken more pieces of fence. They're writing all over the equipment. Trash on the ground. The fence topping that was put on there, they've poked holes in it. They've cut them. If something does not get done in a timely manner, it's going to be ruined by this time next year. We took the swings down because they were wrapping the chains around the top of it and sitting on them. And what they did is they broke the U-bolts that hold the swings on, and they actually snapped one of the baby swings right off. So we took them down for the winter. They've also broke the latch on the gate, snapped it right off. So something has to be
Sir,
done.
can you put in can you add to the next agenda, put something, maybe we can have a longer form discussion. I think this is something we should definitely have where people are aware of the conversation. especially
Whether
the
it's
playground.
here and or at the recreation committee, it needs to happen, I would agree. And we can maybe take the winter months to come up with a game plan to make it a good, safe place for everyone to use.
Yeah, and any advice you guys have that we can do, I think,
Well, we were going to, and if you guys don't want us to, we were going to put a lock on it and lock it for the winter. Now, the problem with that is
hop over that.
they're going to
fence.
hop the
Yeah,
fence.
yeah, yeah.
But that being said,
And the problem
knowing
is,
that it's locked, and if we put a close sign on it, when the police do go by, they can,
and part of the problem now is like the weather's so beautiful right now that it's like,
and there are still, age appropriate kids playing on it, which is the way it's supposed to be.
yeah, we have to find a balance because they just to close it because kids are doing that. It's not appropriate either.
Sounds like it's a group effort that we have to put
Yes.
our heads together to come up with
Yeah.
how to best
And
serve
I
the community
have,
as a
uh,
whole.
And I see some of the teachers. I see Mr. Gonzalez there after school sometimes. But the teachers can only be there for so long.
And like I
I'll
said,
email you the pictures. I have several pictures of the vandalism
no,
that's taken place, and I can send them to you if you want.
Sure, yeah, send them over.
like I said, I know the Dean of Students, Mr. Grenier, Mr. Gonzalez, myself, I know Jill Fisher's been there. I know Lori tries to keep an eye on it. Again, we're not there. And then I also noticed, and that's why we talked about the lighting, is even if they're not on the playground, they're hiding in the orchard,
Right.
scattering around and moving around. It's a very, like I said, three adults were there that night.
Yeah, I was there a couple
we-
weeks before.
We told the kids right out, once the game's over, park is closed. We even had a situation where I thought they were storming the park because I saw 50 kids come running towards us and I was like, oh boy, we're in trouble.
And they have no
But it ended
respect.
up being a totally different situation where there was going to be a fight. And, it's very difficult to have somebody, we can't have somebody monitoring it 24/7. But this isn't the only playground that gets vandalized,
Well,
unfortunately. But this one here has the most use out of it. And we're looking at.
So if we're going to
spending
spend money to do this, we want to make sure we have procedures in place where we can protect the assets of the town. So they are available to be used.
And like I said, we can put age appropriate signs up there, but we have to come up with an age appropriate number.
Again, I
You
think
know?
those are all things, I don't think we want to get into
I
that,
don't
that
necessarily-
discussion at this point in
Yeah,
time. I
yeah,
don't think we
we-
want to go there.
Some kids were respectful and then others, oh my God.
But I just wanted to make people aware of the fact that it is an issue. We know it's an issue. We will be working collectively as a council, as a rec committee, administration, the police, when necessary, to take care of whatever we need to take care of. Thank you.
One more thing, it looks pretty festive out there, so whoever was involved in all the
Oh,
decorations.
yeah, it looks great.
It looks
Yeah.
very, looks nice out there.
The lights on the
Lot of
outside when you
challenges
come in.
going on, a lot of
Yeah, I
challenges.
understand there's a.
We even got a
say-
challenge from Lincoln, so it's kind of
Oh, I
interesting.
like it.
Actually, so what we don't want anybody to think is that we weren't going to hold up our end of a bargain. Mr. John Parenti issued a challenge regarding the Thanksgiving Day football game, and we accepted it knowing that we were the underdog. And our guys fought hard. However, we did not win that game. We did agree that we would wear ochre uniforms and shirts, and no one showed up to give them to us. So the truth is, I would have had my
Used
wizard
all
thing.
their energy in the
I
game.
would have
they
had
couldn't
the
deliver
wizard thing underneath anyway, because I'm a wizard. I know you guys. I
Yeah,
don't know
John-
about you, but you have Coventry. You have Coventry. Jason has Coventry background, so I'm really the true wizard up here. That's a yeah, all right. A Villanovan. Yeah.
But John Parenti from 105.1, 105.5, I'm sorry, reached out to Coventry Town Council President and West Warwick Town Council President and offered a challenge. Whichever community wins, the opposite community will wear their jerseys the next council meeting. I did text him at 7:30 this morning requesting where's our jerseys. And he did say Coventry did not believe in the bet, that they thought it was just a joke, so they didn't give us their jerseys. So
So that.
we would have sent them ours if we
That
won.
that office has expired, officially expired. We did say the next meeting.
council
That's
meeting.
right. That
So
would be
null and
tonight.
void
Yes.
Going forward. All right, hearing none from anybody else up here. Any public comment? Just state your name and address for the record.
Council President, Council. We were here about a month ago at a meeting, and we had a claim for an accident that I had on right across from Morgan School at the gas station. There's a 2 to 3 inch metal something sticking out of the sidewalk. And I was going into the gas station and my bumper hit it. And I heard the noise and then I backed out. I heard it again. So I got my gas and went home. And then when I felt underneath the bumper, it was all scratched. But then I looked at it and it was pulled away from the frame of the car. So I put in a claim. And I was contacted by Fred Gill, and he said that I'd have to go through the owner of the gas station. It was his property or his, that's what it was. But when I got my paperwork back, I had a letter here, and it said, I've gone through the Karen claim. I went to the site with the electrical inspector. And he stated that the part of it was sticking up, it was part of the town's lighting system. Then it says, looks like remnants of signage from the gas station from the past, whatever that is. And in conclusion, he denied the claim. So I called the owner, Mr. Akbar, and I explained it to him. So he told me that was a light. That's what it was, a street light. There was an accident and the street light got knocked over, and that's the way they left it. And he said it was some other guy had hit that one at one time too. And he explained that to the man. And the last time they were here, I talked to Councilman Goslin, and the way I left it was, you're gonna go look at it. and decide whatever. And then I got this letter. Well, I didn't get the letter. I got the phone call from Mr. Gill. And he said, it's nothing to do with the town. It's in conclusion, the structure is not any part of the town property. I would ask the claimants committee to deny, but it's not the owner of the gas station.
So I know I went down, I'm not sure if anybody else went down. Looking at the pictures and the way you entered, it looks like you went through the curb.
Over the curb.
Over
I
the
couldn't.
curb.
I was going 1 mile an hour, 2 miles an hour.
Yeah, but it looks like, because on both entrances of the gas station is where that light post is, and there's a curbing there.
I know it.
And it looks like you entered the parking lot through the curbing, and then you backed out. And that's when the damage has been caused,
Oh.
because if you were
I
on
hit
top
it.
of, if you were on top of the sidewalk,
I was.
right, and you went over that, there's literally, that is literally this far off the ground.
Like an inch.
It's less than an inch. So unless you're driving a lowrider car, that's the only way that bumper could hit that. And in the way I saw the picture was that the front bumper was on the curb and backing off. That's the only way I could see that happening. So I personally did call Freddie and say, Freddie, I don't think this is a town issue, because I think he may have entered through the curb. And if he entered through the curb and it was an accident, then at that point, how is that the town's responsibility?
Because it's according to the electrical inspector, that's lighting, that's the town's lighting system. That's what it came from. That's what it is, the town's lighting system. And I didn't go over the curb. I couldn't go over the curb. My car was going 2-3 miles an hour. There was a car at that pump, and it was on an angle. So I was trying to avoid that car's bumper. And my car, the wheels went up on the thing, and my bumper caught that thing. My bumper caught it, not the wheels. The wheels didn't go over it.
But sir, your bumper is how far off? What kind of car do you have again?
I got a 2016 Genesis.
So the question I have is a piece of piping or whatever sticking out of the ground 1 inch. What made your car drop down to less than an inch to drag your bumper across that?
The wheel is on the side of where the bumper is. The wheel is going in on that flat part. So my bumper must be low enough to catch that piece of metal sticking out of the ground, which it did.
Do you still have
It
photos?
actually, it hit the metal, and nothing stopped my car. My car was still going. When I heard that noise, I stopped. I backed up, then went around, and I didn't think there was any damage except for under the bumper.
He's got the big light over in the left.
They don't have any pictures. My car.
Yeah, Councilman Bourget has a picture of the actual, whatever that is. sticking
Yeah,
up
when
on
you're
the
saying that that's only an inch.
If you look at it, sir.
No, but if you look where it is up on a curb.
So, like I said, both entrances. So picture this, that's the entrance, and in between the entrance is a curbing with that sticking up. And it sticks up.
It's even higher than what you said.
On this-
It looks like it's.
Now, if you came in
Up the curb.
on it, I could see your
Yeah,
bumper
it's like a
dragging,
curb, right, yeah.
but being on, and here's the pictures.
These were
There,
kind of the-
it looks like there's an entrance way. I wish we can put it up on the big screen, but it looks
Actually, you
where the
can.
crosswalk is,
The agenda from the 16th.
where the crosswalk is, it looks like that's an entryway, but it's not an entryway. And it's just, it's a handicap accessible walkway. And then when you zoom in this picture, it's literally this far, less than,
Let's see if she can get that up. Hold on.
it's
I mean,
less
the curb,
than
the curb looks.
2 phones out of the ground.
Do you think my car?
I don't think
without
any car should
stopping,
hit that.
Could hit that sidewalk and go up there?
Correct me if you were coming, you did it coming into the gas station or coming out of the gas station?
Going in.
Oh, that's, okay, you were turning
K6.
left, you saw, on right?
I was coming in on an angle because I was trying to avoid the car that was in.
And that's what I don't understand. If you're coming in and your bumper,
I don't understand it either. I was in my car and I know I didn't get stopped until I heard that noise.
and then you backed up,
And then I backed up.
which is
And
why I think you hit the front curb and then backed up and dragged your bumper out. That's why I said, Freddie, and that's why I called Freddie and said, I don't want,
it's
to,
impossible for the car to go up on that bumper. I mean, the curb. It's impossible to go up on the curb. I have to be going 40, 50
the
miles an
curb's
hour.
not that high.
There and there. Yes.
So Sarah can bring it up.
It's high. It's high where that thing is sticking out of the ground.
It is high, yes. If you,
So my car was coming in with my one wheel was
if you go to
completely in that
Cliff
thing.
But there's no
There
entranceway
you go.
at that
Right
point.
there.
So here's the entranceway. Now, here's a walkway here, which is the crosswalk.
I was coming from the other side.
So you were coming from this way
Yes,
and you were turning in
yes,
and your
right
front
there.
bumper hit this, right?
No, my bumper didn't hit anything until I heard the noise. My bumper did hit that thing, yes.
So it hit this. So if you came in here, this is literally less than, we'll say 2 inches. There's no car that goes 2 inches from the ground.
Are you sure you didn't do it on the curb?
And
No.
this is the
This
curbing.
one?
You know why I didn't do it on the curb? Because I can show you pictures of part of my bumper inside that thing. It's inside of there.
It's inside of where? Here?
Yes, I went back for it.
But when you backed up, where'd you back up from? Did you back up? Because if you entered the entranceway here,
That's what I was trying to do, but the car was,
Can you go to number 27? I think it has like an aerial view.
see that piece of gray? That's from my car. The piece of gray.
We're not, I don't think we dispute that you hit it.
we're just trying to figure out which direction you hit it, because like I said, this is a lip. This is a lip of this big. And for a car,
Yeah, but
an
you
average car is 12 to 18 inches off the ground.
You have to look at my car. I don't know how, I never measured it from the ground.
It's almost as if that obstruction got caught underneath his car. That's how it.
No, the bumper hit the spot and then that,
Before the wheels
First one.
went on top of the curb, and that's where he heard the noise, my impression, and then when he heard the noise, the front bumper was definitely on top of it, and he backed off and hit it again. He was on the.
He didn't go
wheels
up the
weren't
curb yet.
Yet
That's what it sounds
on
like.
top of the
And
curb.
again, and that's.
Well, that makes sense.
Didn't hit
That
it
would make
again.
sense if you hit it because your wheels were below the curb and you hit it because you were going up the curb, so you were like,
But that curb
That's
wasn't
what
that high.
That makes sense.
No, right.
The curb,
but that's not an entrance, but that's not an entrance though. That's the biggest.
Right next to that piece of curb is
Oh, no,
the entrance. And that piece that's of the curb is level with that entrance.
No.
It's the next piece that's
Can you bring up the
slightly
con-
elevated. So when he was taking the turn into the gas station.
see, there's my car right there.
Yeah, but I can't
It
see.
looked like that object caught underneath him, did it, what it did.
And then that piece fell out too. I went back to get that.
I don't see the height. You can't see a clear height of the car though.
that's what it seems like.
Well,
I don't have anything better for you, David.
Yeah, there's nothing there that shows the height of the car.
no, there is, yeah, that one shows, right? If you would've
What kind of car, what kind of car is it
I
again?
have- I have a
Genesis.
picture
21, no,
16 Genesis.
2016 Genesis,
There's the cement.
Hyundai Genesis.
There's his tire. It's not that high up.
Like this looks like it was, this car. And that's a different,
Yes,
a different
it's-
color,
yeah.
obviously, but.
So he, yeah. If
And
you went
again,
up over the curb,
See the Genesis itself? No, I don't know if this is, I'm just taking,
Yeah.
this is, but see how far that is off the ground? You're at least 8 to 12 inches from the car.
Hmm?
On that car to go in. I can't tell on that car.
All right, but look where the bottom of the car is. Look at the tire. That's
Yep.
to 12 inches.
I'd say 6 to 12. And I'm only guessing from a picture.
Well,
The
how
car's not
far up is that piece, that obstruction?
less than 2 inches. So if you bring this back up, this here is literally less than 2
What
inches.
about the
from
thing in the middle?
This here,
Yeah.
the nub, it has the 2 bolts. I'm adding that in there. I'm adding the 4 bolts and the nub in the middle.
Yeah, how
As-
far up is that thing in the middle coming from the?
I'm adding it all together. I'm saying this is like less than this is about an inch, and adding the bolts is another inch, so 2 inches from the ground. And that's why I'm saying, I mean, I drive a Silverado, so I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference. But if I took a Camry or if I took your car and drove over it, I don't think I would hit that pipe, that whatever that
Well,
is.
actually, based on the,
And again, I can't.
Yeah, that's
Your-
what
your
happened.
insurance is-
Do you see that gray piece?
Yep.
That's from my bumper underneath.
Well, I don't think anybody's disputing that your car hit that.
Right.
What we're disputing is
Whether the town.
whether you went into the curb to go over the curb without realizing it, hit it, never made it onto the curb. Your tires never made it onto the curb. And then you backed out because you were already on it, and that's what pulled it off.
My car would have never hit that.
No, your tires, because from the tires to the front of your bumper is a few feet, correct? From your
Yeah.
front tires. So if your tires went up and touched the curb and your bumper had already gone over that and hooked, then when you backed up, it just pulled it backwards. So it looks to me like you missed the entrance because you're trying to avoid the other vehicle. That's what it looks like.
Well, he said it, he said that.
My car.
Said he was trying to avoid the other vehicle,
Right,
so
and
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So I
Yeah,
think you
yeah.
missed the entrance altogether, and that's why what Alan said makes sense, because
Yeah.
the tires just never, it
See how-
went to the curb and
see
it came
how
back.
low- See how I load up where that, on the other side of that metal piece. That's how I was going up. I was coming up this way, not this way.
so show us where?
My car wouldn't,
So you turned from here?
yeah, no, go down further, see? No, the other side, yeah. Yeah.
He came in
See
this
the
way, it
entrance?
looks to me like his right tire was probably still off the curb.
And
He came in-
the car was here?
Okay, so that's what happened. Your right tire was off the curb, your left tire was on the curb.
Right.
So that would have put you at an angle, which would have made it low enough to where your bumper would have got hooked. Your bumper would have got hooked.
Say that again?
If your right tire, because if you're going up, if your right tire that's still in the roadway, your left tire would have been up on the sidewalk. So your car would have been tilted because you were still off the curb.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so you're still off the curb, so your tire
Freddie's
gets
still here?
tilted over.
Freddie went out, is Freddie still here?
So your car got tilted, so that part of your bumper was down low enough to where it struck that. And then when you heard it, you backed up and now it's got those hooks sticking up, it hooked it and pulled your bumper.
But the lower part would have been on my side, my driver's side.
Just a question.
If you were taking a left in, your right tire, your passenger side would have still been in the roadway.
If that object wasn't there to begin with,
We wouldn't have hit it.
we wouldn't be here, right? Because he would have just gone right in, he would have had a problem.
You
with
would have
his
bumped
car.
you would have bumped the bottom of your bumper would have been scraped on the curb, I think, anyway, but it wouldn't have got hooked like
You
it
would
did.
have
Yeah.
Had the
Yeah.
damage done
Yeah,
too.
no,
But you might have still blown out your tire from the curb. I mean, there's a lot of what if.
Did we get
Not going that slow.
Well, not that high.
Did we get confirmation from, who did you say told you that it was the town's?
The owner of.
The owner of the gas station. Can we get some confirmation?
Could I just let the council be aware of the fact that this has been before you twice and for public, well, it
Well,
was
he wasn't
tabled
here the
once.
second
It was
time, yeah.
tabled once. This is really not appropriate for public comment, the way you're getting into this. So you've denied the claim. He has rights to, but the claim was
We
denied.
did the following.
We, the council, did not deny any claim.
Well,
It came before the council.
Yep.
The council said, well, we're gonna look into the matter. It came to the next agenda. Freddie actually contacted Mr. Karen here and let him know that it's not a town matter. So he didn't come to the last meeting. We took no action and we left it alone.
All right, since it's not on the agenda tonight, you're getting well deep into what they want you to do. It should be on an agenda item, not a public comment. So if you want to put it back on the
All right, so put it on the
table,
next agenda.
next agenda
Can-
to address their
can we-
concerns and speak to
Can we
Freddie.
get some clarification of this particular spot and whether it was at
I've
one
been
point?
told it's not a
You,
town lake.
we have been told, all right, so that's what, all right.
Speculation that it was either the private property or the
By,
DOT. but-
so they seem to have something that says.
No, he said the
Joe
owner.
Argenti, no, I think he says the electrical inspector said it was Old Town Lighting. Is that what the
And
light?
they went out to look at it and determined it. From what I understanding is that it was not, it does not match all the other town lighting
Right.
fixtures that are there.
I was under the impression it was a lighted sign for that retail place, whether it
Whatever
was
was
gas
before
station
it.
or whatever it was before.
I tried to get it on the agenda, and the girl told me that I have to get one of you guys.
Somebody has to
approve
sponsor it.
To get on the agenda.
That's why we.
So I would, I would
We'll
agree.
put it on
Why
next-
don't we,
we'll put it on
why
the
don't we,
next agenda.
She said, just go there, and when it's.
yeah,
Just
so
get it on the
thank you,
agenda.
yes, but it's not on the agenda, so why don't we,
From, when's the next meeting?
21st.
21st. Put it on the, let's put it on the agenda for the 21st.
yeah, would you please put it on the agenda and then we will try
Put it
to,
on, we'll continue.
Yeah.
With
So-
proper notice
yeah,
for everybody.
thank
We'll
you.
put it on the next meeting.
thank you.
Any other
Eh,
public comment?
Well, actually,
Oh, sorry.
Mrs. Karen, I wanted to know what kind of student David was in kindergarten. Or first grade.
He was just as cute then as he is
Oh, all
now.
right, yeah.
There we go.
This is not on the agenda. This is not on the agenda.
You're gonna have to recuse yourself now.
I'm out.
I'm blushing.
The only problem she had was she didn't put them in timeout enough.
We still have that problem. That's a, thank you, Sarah.
I'll double check.
No problem.
Any other public comment? Alan?
Alan Palazzo, 5 Robin Lane, West Warwick, and please bear with me because I have to go up and down with my glasses. Several items. I'll start with the simplest one first. A trash pickup on Natick Road was not done this week. It wasn't done even yesterday. I received a message today. Someone had tried to get DPW to find out why it hadn't been picked up, but there were several houses on Natick Road where you go down towards Cranston. There weren't any holidays last week that I know of. So that's item number one. That's a simple one. Okay. Paving, Cardi's, information, going round and round. Freddie's doing a good job and he has, I don't think, any issues with the current problems. Wakefield Street is a disaster, but it's just not Wakefield Street. I took several pictures on Wakefield Street. I took pictures on Youngs Avenue. Youngs Avenue has issues with the manhole covers. So that's one. Issues with regard to Church Street. I was hoping Mr. Licciardi would be here tonight because I believe it was about 2 years ago, Church Street was redone. They cut into it, and driving down it yesterday, I noticed that all the manhole covers on Church Street are blocked off, like about a 2-foot section around the covers. And I'm asking like, what's going on? And I had raised the issue before with regard to planning. Check out ahead of time, come up with a critical path when things need to be done, work with the utilities and go from there. I also raised the issue of West Street because I know that's being done, as were Shady Hill, Quaker Drive, Mosswood, etc. That's a utilities. Okay, the response back was, hey, we have no control over that. Issue, you have now identified a problem. If the municipality has no control over the work that the utility's done, We have a great General Assembly delegation. Work with them to get that changed so you can have some input with the utilities. I don't know what's going to be going on with those streets. I drive Quaker Drive a lot. I don't do Shady Hill, but they're disasters right now. And it's, in my opinion, it's too cold to pave. I don't know what they're going to be doing, but if there's a problem with working with them because of the state, that needs to be corrected. It's that simple.
I'll speak to those few streets you mentioned out in Ward 5, Shady Hill, Quaker Drive. They are horrendous. They haven't been done since the streets were first put in back in the 50s, when I understand. They were on the list to be done this past summer, and they did coordinate with National Grid, and National Grid said, we're going to be digging all those up in the spring of next year. So, and we'll pave the whole thing. So that's why we're able to do other streets besides those. So they're just going to be done come spring by the utilities. So,
And that's going to be the last time for the next 5 years, right?
hopefully, yes. It's
5
always
year
the hope.
We're in the old Soviet Union. We work 5-year plans.
So we have a 5-year moratorium on the roads, but
Mhm.
emergency purposes, there's nothing we can do. So if National Grid has a gas leak, if it's a new road.
Oh, I understand an emergency such as,
Acorn.
yeah,
No, and
I understand that implicitly.
no, and there's other situations. So, perfect example here, East Main. It was done, paved. National Grid, the gas company come through, redug them. Well, now Kent County Water is coming in next year. So we've worked with National Grid and told them, okay, when you're done, Kent County Water is coming in. When they're done, we have a project too. So they're working coinciding with each other. They normally do work with each other.
And I'll raise the issue again. This is where the planner should be involved to tie all the departments together.
Well, the planner doesn't see the road opening permits. So when they come in, National Grid, and we, the council, don't see road opening permits. We don't approve road opening permits. That goes down into DPW. They fill out for the road opening permit and they approve or disapprove the road opening.
Who could send it to the planner and say, no, that's not good because we're doing something else. It's just coordination. It's not hard. So I'll leave it at that, though. The Little League tax freeze, I raised that issue. I'm wondering if you guys are going to be doing anything with that. Looking forward, you're just going to let it drop. The elderly can leave their houses because they can't pay the taxes.
We haven't discussed it, no.
My point is, consider it.
Mark has done some research. Anything can be considered, but there is also a cost associated with those
I
kinds of things.
understand that.
So
And
absolutely.
kudos to, I'm not sure if he's still here. Is Sal still here? No.
He got you your information.
No, better than that. I had put a link to the veterans exemption on, somebody posted it, said it doesn't work. And I went to the town again, looked at it, and the recommendation that I had made to him before was, this is out of date, it needs to be updated. And oh my God, it's a brand new form. It's got Mr. Knott's name on it. It's in color. It's fantastic. And kudos to him because that was knocked off like instantaneously with the speed of heat. So an attaboy on that one. Okay. Veterans Affairs Coordinator. Are you guys going to be considering a Veterans Affairs Coordinator for the town? There are a lot of people out there who would probably like to be considered for that position. I'm not one of them, but to coordinate for Veterans Affairs, veterans exemptions, activities within the town, not just the Veterans Council, but a Veterans Coordinator, Veterans Affairs. There's a lot of smart people out there. So just consider that. And the last item I have deals with litigation. When I leave here, I'm going to be going home and posting up on the several West Warwick sites. I emailed, there's 28 items under litigation. I emailed you all a article from WPRI. It's 26 months old. Deals with one of the items you're going to be dealing with tonight, 19. I emailed you the actual case. I'm not sure what you're looking at for documentation. The one that I just emailed to you was received from the Assistant Rhode Island Attorney General on the Wilson case. It's one of the cases in the WPRI article. And my point is that was investigated by the Attorney General, and he found cause 2 years ago. 26 months later, the West Warwick Town Council is discussing that very same case in executive session. And as I said before, I'm tired of my tax dollars being wasted over and over again. Mr. Williamson has said in this council, all Open Meetings Act requests or APA requests go through him. Both cases cited in that WPRI article are APRA violations. I mentioned to you a couple of meetings ago that if you look at the Attorney General's guide, West Warwick features prominently in the list of violations. So it's just something that you need to take a look at. I'm tired of taxes, and I think the people of West Warwick, when they take a look at that case and that story again, because 2 years later, it looks like you haven't got off top dead center. There are issues for the taxpayers, how we do business. Something as simple as an APRA request takes 2 years. And just to let you know, I also have gone to war with the Warwick School Department on APRA request. So I'm doing 2 communities at once based upon a loss of a dear friend. I will get to the bottom of it. But the taxpayers of this town, 28 cases, it's ridiculous. And if you look at what WPRI put in that, they've quoted some people. One person said, hey, I've given you guys the manual, and it looks like nobody read it. Mr. Wilson goes back even before Mrs. Spodnik. So forewarned is forearmed, and the taxpayers of the town are now going to be able to see things. As I said, I sent you the story and what
You said number 19.
I believe it's 19. It's either 18 and 19. Papa Charlie 2019-1009.
It's 17.
Nerona 17, Nerona versus West Warwick. That's why the question mark was there, because I wasn't quite sure.
Because 19's not.
Okay.
It's totally different.
It's neither here nor there. It's Nerona versus West Warwick. And to me, that was settled 2 years ago. And West Warwick was found, and I know you're going into executive session. I'm not going to discuss the litigation. I just wanted you to see what's out for the public. That's a public document, and it was like instantaneous for me to get that document.
So I just want to correct you on one thing, and I know you said the solicitor said it. Going back, Mary Ann Kelly was the town clerk, and our previous town clerk relied heavily on every APRA request she forwarded over to the solicitor. And we asked the question, why? Right? It should go to the department heads. Actually, the town.
I've stated that over and over again.
And it doesn't go to, so I just want to clarify, for almost 4 years now has gone by. It does not go, every APRA request does not go to the solicitor.
Mr. Goslin, I'll let you finish and then I'll rejoin.
I just want to point out that the clerk will receive them. She sends them to the department heads. If the department head cannot get that information or they need legal advice, that's the only time they reach out to the town solicitor. Other than that, every APRA request does not go through him anymore.
Anymore, okay?
Over 4 years ago. So we can, and again, you just brought it up like we're doing it today. I just want to clarify, we're not doing that today.
Mr. Goslin, I can go back within 3 years and Mr. Williamson was sitting where Mrs. Williamson was, and he made that statement. Let him correct me, and then I'll come back and show you the video.
I'm just clarifying, and Alan, it could be 3 years, but Mary Ann Kelly was here, okay? And she was told specifically, go to the department heads first. We corrected that, and you may be 100% right in your timeline.
Thank you.
I'm not arguing that. It could be 3 years, it could be 4, it could be 2.5. As of today, since our new clerk has been here, which has been well over 6 months, she has not sent any APRA request to the solicitor. It goes to the department.
You're
head.
talking a case that the story goes back 26 months,
I'm just pointing out.
not the request.
I'm not talking about the case. I'm talking about the comment you said that every APRA request goes to the solicitor.
That was based on his statement.
We're not practicing
That
that
was
anymore.
on his statement,
Okay, we're
not mine.
I just want to
I know
clarify.
you've made that abundantly clear.
Thank you.
But the cases involved here, going back to 2018, Mr. Williamson was involved. He's the one cited in the particular case that you're going to be discussing later on. And it's interesting reading. I'm not sure if any of you or all of you have read it. I would suggest you do prior to discussing that. You know, I wouldn't go into a battle without reading the other guy's battle plan. So I'll leave it at that. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You too,
You
Alan.
too, Al.
Any other public comment? Need a motion to move
I
into
would
executive session.
Make a motion to move into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We have a minute? Yeah, go ahead.
Sarah, nix this.
Yep, shutting it all down.